Welcome to our series on getting ready for EQAO. These tests are for Grade 3, Grade 6, and Grade 9 students in Ontario. We have many past papers solved in our playlist and have also provided hundreds of questions for students absolutely free to prepare for these tests. In this video, let us enjoy the journey of understanding how do we solve EQAO Grade 6 Math test paper. This test paper is prepared for communication and thinking type of questions which are expected for students of grade 6. Thank you. I am Anil Kumar. In this video, we'll take up many interesting questions. These are based on creative thinking and problem solving. We'll not only solve them, but understand alternate ways of solving similar questions that will prepare you for EQAO in the best possible way. Let us enjoy this journey of learning. You can see the first three questions are based on fractions, which is very important at this stage for you to understand. Let us take up these questions and answer them. You can always pause the video, answer the questions, and then look into my suggestions. So let's begin with the very first question, which is arrange the following fractions in ascending order. Ascending order really means increasing order, that is from lower values to higher values. So we are given 2 by 3, 5 by 6, 7 by 12, and 7 by 8. How do we arrange them in increasing order? There are many strategies to follow. One of them is to take a common denominator. So when you take a common denominator, you really write equivalent fractions. And that makes it simple to arrange them in increasing order. Probably that is the best strategy. Now, how do we take common denominator? For common denominator, we need LCM, so lowest common multiple. The numbers in the denominator are 3, 6, 12, and 8. LCM in this case is, as you can see, will be 24. Since 24 is the common multiple of all of them and the lowest out of those. So the idea is to write all these fractions with denominator 24 and then we can easily rearrange them. So let's do it. So we are given 2 by 3. To make it 24 in the denominator, what should I do? I should multiply by 8 and also divide by 8. So I get 16 by 24, correct? The other one here is 5 by 6. To make it 24, I should be multiplying it by 6 times 4 is 24. So by 4 and divide by 4. So that gives you 20 by 24. Clear? The third number is 7 by 12. So 7 by 12, we need to multiply by 2 and divide by 2 to get our answer, which is 14 by 24. The last number is 7 by 8, which we can multiply and divide by 3. So we get 21 over 24. Now when we have all the fractions with common denominator 24, we can easily rearrange them. Clear? So all of these, the lowest is which one, right? So we are working with numbers 16, 14, 20, and 21. Clearly, the lowest is 14 over 24. So for that, we will write 7 over 12. Makes sense? Then after 14 comes 16, so we'll write 2 over 3, which is the equivalent fraction, and then 20, which is 5 over 6. And then 21 over 24 is the largest of all. So that will be 7 over 8. Makes sense. See how we have rearranged them, and now we got an order which is ascending order, means lowest to highest or increasing order. So I hope with this many concepts are clear. One, how do we find the lowest common multiple? How do we write equivalent fractions with the same denominator? And then compare and answer the question. Perfect. Great. So now let's take up question number 2. Question number 2 is write three fractions between 5 by 7 and 6 by 7. I have seen many students struggling with this kind of a question. How can they write fractions between 5 by 7 and 6 by 7? And that too, we want them to write three fractions. Can you tell me how we can do it? Well, here is a very interesting technique. Think like this. Let's write equivalent fractions for these also. 5 by 7 and 10 by 7. If I multiply by 10 both numerator and denominator, what do I get? Well, I get 50 by 7, and I can get 70 and 60 by 70, correct? When you multiply, you have to divide also, right? So multiply and divide by 10. And now you see how easy it is to write down the numbers in between. You can write so many numbers between any two fractions. Do you see the technique? Correct. So definitely we have our answer clearly. So we can write 51 by 70, correct? We can write 52 by 70. We can write 53 by 70 and so on, correct? So these are three which we have listed. But I hope you understand this strategy. That is, write equivalent fractions and then get your answer. Makes sense, right? Perfect. So as you can see, we'll move along solution of these questions and also understand the concepts. So, we're solving many things at one time, not only getting you prepared for EQA 6, but also prepare for middle school, right? Great. Question number 3 here is describe three ways to compare the improper fraction 1 by 4 and 8 by 3. So, purposely, I have taken here three ways to compare, and we have got two fractions here. One way to compare we learned earlier, right? Which was common denominator, right? You could do that, correct? And then decide which one is greater, right? Great. So, first step should be what? To solve such a question, we could write 2 1 by 4 as improper fraction times 2 with 4, 8 plus 1, 9 by 4. So that is equivalent, right? Similarly, we have 8 over 3, which is already improper fraction. Now, strategy 1 is common denominator, right? So, what we can do? Common denominator could be 12, right? So, to make 12, what can we do? Well, 9 by 4 and 8 by 3. These are the two improper fractions we are looking into. To make 12, we'll multiply this by 3 by 3 and the other one by 4 by 4, correct? What do you get? 3 times 9 is 27. So we get 27 over 12. And here 8 times 4 is 32. So we get 32 over 12. So clearly we know that 8 by 3 is greater than 2 1 by 4. So we got one method and we have the result. 8 by 3 is larger. That is one way of doing it. Another technique is something which I call cross multiply. You have seen above, practically we have done cross multiplication. See how it works. We want to compare the two fractions 9 by 4 and 8 by 3. Cross multiply means multiply 4 with 8 and 3 with 9. That is cross multiply. So when you do that, you get 3 times 9 as 27, 8 times 4 and 32. We know 32 is greater, right? So we got a result, which is exactly same as we did earlier. So sometimes, when especially you are comparing two fractions, cross multiplication is the best technique. Now, third way could be many, right? One, which normally preferred at school level, is place these numbers on number line, right? You can use number line. You can use number line to place these numbers. So we will do that now. Let's say that's our number line. And we have 2 1 by 4 and 8 by 3. So this is 0. Let's say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. We know both the numbers are less than 3, but greater than 2. So when I want to point out where 9 by 4 is, that means 2 and quarter, right? So quarter means half of half. So that means this number is 2, 1 by 4. Clear? The other number we are looking is 8 thirds, 8 thirds, which basically is what? Let's rewrite this, right? So it is 2 thirds, right? So what we are going to divide is, we are going to divide this between 2 and 3 into 3 equal parts, correct? So 1, 2 and 3, and there it goes. This is 8 by 3. So you can clearly see that 8 by 3, which is the number on the right hand side of 2 1 by 4, is greater, correct? Or we can say 2 1 by 4 is lesser than 8 by 3. Makes sense? So that is how we can compare them, and you can understand all the three techniques in this particular way. Perfect? Makes sense, right? Hope you are learning, right? Feel free to like and subscribe to my videos. And in case you want to learn directly from me, you can send an email. Great. Now let's look into question number 4, which is 21 centimeter rope is divided in the ratio of 1:2. Find the length of each piece. So here we have a rope. Let's say this is our rope, whose length is 21 centimeters. Perfect. We want to divide in the ratio of 1:2. How are you going to solve it? Well, the ratio is 1:2, right? So what is the total? 1 plus 2 is actually 3, right? So if I have 3 pieces, 1 piece and then 2 pieces, you get the idea. So that means I have to divide 21 into 3 equal pieces. That means each piece is 7 centimeter long. You get the idea. So when we divide this, each piece is 7, 7 and 7. You get the idea. So that is how you should be doing. Add the numbers 2 and 1 and divide into the total length of 21. What do you get? Is length of each 1:2. So 1:2 means this is one section of the rope, right? So that would be 17, and these are the two sections, so that will be 14 centimeter. You get the idea. So find the length of each piece. Each piece is 7 centimeter and 14 centimeter. Is that clear to you? So we have taken up ratios just after fractions. So I hope it is making sense, right? Now here we have the next set where we'll focus on patterns. So once again, just in case you need the copy to work independently, send an email. Also, you can search my videos by Anil Kumar EQAO 6 practice. We have hundreds of videos on this particular topic for you. Great. Now let's look into question number 5. The question here is growth of 11 centimeter bean plant is monitored by a group of students. On average, it was found to grow zero point 0.7 centimeter each day. Which length is closest to the total height of the bean plant after 1 month? I'd like you to visualize this, right? So let's say this is the ground for us, right? And the bean plant is growing. We'll assume this is going straight. Is it okay? More or less. So we started with 11 centimeters. Now each day it is growing by zero point 0.7 centimeters. Do you get the idea? So 0.7, 0.7, 0.7, 0.7, 0.7. Like this, it is growing each day by 0.7 centimeters. So how many 0.7s will you add? It depends on the number of days, correct? So after 1 month, we want the height of the plant, and 1 month, take that as 30 days. Perfect. So that means I have to multiply 0.7 30 times. So when you multiply by 10, it becomes like 7 times 3. You get the idea? Which is 21 centimeters. Correct. So this growth, whatever it is 21 centimeter. You get the idea? So what is the total? Total height will be 21 plus 11, which was already there, right? And therefore, that should give me 32 centimeters. Now we got 32 centimeters. 32 centimeters is not given, but we are given something in meters. So you also know that 1 meter equals to 100 centimeters. And therefore, 32 centimeter we have to divide by 100 will be equal to what? Well, that should be equal to 0.32 meters. And therefore, the option C is the correct option. Makes sense? So, very beautiful question. This question has been asked earlier in EQAO, and so we do expect similar kind of question to come this year also. Now let's look into question number 6. Two shrinking patterns are shown. Pattern A 2530, 2180, 1830, 1480 and so on. Pattern B 5120, 2560, 1280, 640 so on. Which of the following number will be in both the patterns? Now this question has been asked earlier in EQAO. By the way, most of the questions which I am working with are similar to what has been already asked, and therefore we are expecting similar type of questions to now come. So it makes more sense, right? Now let us see how do we solve this particular question. Good idea is to extend these patterns. So let's look into pattern A, which is 2530, 2180, 1830, 1480. And pattern B is 5120, 2560, 1280 and 640. What do you notice? So take your time to extend these patterns. Pattern A is decreasing by what? Let's figure this out. Decreasing with minus, right? So how much? So when you take away, you get 350, right? So it is decreasing by 350 each time. So you can decrease the value by 350 and extend this pattern, correct? So if I do that here, decreasing by 350, I get 1130. Now the other pattern, so continue this, right? The other pattern is every time it is becoming half, right? Half each time. Okay, so that is faster to do. So let me extend the second one, half each time. 640 will give me 320, will give me 160, will give me 80, will give me 40. Correct. We have numbers till 40, 80, 160, 320. All the numbers are there in the option, right? So basically, we need to extend pattern A to check which one of these is also in pattern A, right? Okay. So if I reduce it further, then what do I get, right? 350, 350 is like 700, right? So we get here 780. Correct. And then from here we can take away 350 again. So we get 230, correct. Oh, sorry, 430, correct. And then again 350. 350 will give me 80, right? So we land up with 80. And therefore, we find that 80 is common between both. So that becomes the answer for question number 6. Makes sense, right? Now let's move on and take the next questions. Question number 7 is write the next three terms of this pattern. Describe the pattern rule also. So on this side, I've given you, some other things. When we have a question where multiple choice is not there, the marks are on communication. How do we solve it? So therefore, we need to describe 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. It's a very difficult pattern. So, what really is happening here is that how do you get 2 is to add 1 and 1. And then when you add 1 and 2, you get 3. When you add 2 and 3, you get 5. And 3 plus 5 is 8, and so on. So, you can describe this pattern as add previous 2 to get the next. Of course, we can say start at 1, 1. Only then you can add previous 2. You get the idea. So you start at 1, 1 and then add previous 2 to get. So what could be the next three numbers? So you can add 8 and 13, which gives you 21, right? And then you add 21 and 13. So which will give you 34. And now you add these to get the third number, which is 55. So the next three terms are 21, 34, and 55. Very interesting question. Great. The next question here is question number 8. Write explicit pattern rule and find the 10th term in the following increasing pattern. So how do you find explicit pattern rule? Explicit pattern rule is what? Well, the other pattern rule which I just did is called iterative pattern rule. Here, we should know the previous term to get the next one, right? Explicit means directly, using a formula. Make sense? So, you have to develop the formula. How do we do that? Well, we know that the first term is A, right? Which is 3. Normally, we write A as the first term. And by how much is it increasing? So every time when you go from 3 to 7, you're doing add 4, right? And 7 to 11, add 4. So the pattern could be start at 3, add 4 each time. So that is how this pattern can be developed. Okay. So that means these are the term numbers, right? So how do I find the nth term? We write nth term as Tn. Is a plus, you add 4 n minus 1 times, right? And you're adding 4. So a for us is 3, and you want the 10th term, so you do 10 minus 1 times 4. So 3 plus 10 minus 1 is 9, right? Times 4. So 9 times 4 is 36, plus 3 is 39. So that is how you will get the 10th term. You get the idea? So you could actually expand by adding 4 and get the other terms just to confirm. However, this is the method to be applied. Makes sense, right? So, I hope so far things are going well. You're understanding all these things. Now we are moving into thinking and communication questions. I would like you to take a good look at these questions, answer these. Perfect. We'll take their solution from here onwards in our next video. Feel free to write your comments and suggestions. Thanks for your time and all the best.